Last week, a communication came out of the Vatican Press Office. The Canadian Conference of Catholic Bishops has invited the Holy Father to make an apostolic journey to Canada, also in the context of the long-standing pastoral process of reconciliation with Indigenous peoples. I'm Deacon Pedro, and this is the Salt and Light Hour. Hello and welcome to an all-new Salt and Light Hour. I'm Deacon Pedro. And then at the end of the program, Danny, we're going to be speaking with David Wang. He's the frontman of the Canadian Catholic rock band Critical Mass. He's been on the show many, many times. And Dave has a new project that he's working on the topic of parental alienation. Do you know what that is? Have you ever heard of that concept?
No, I have not, and I can't wait to find out more.
Yeah, so parental alienation occurs when one parent manipulates a child to reject the other parent. I don't know how common it is, but I know it's common, and we all know people that have gone through difficult divorces, and sometimes the children get caught in the middle. So David has been working on a project about this. The project involves a website, and of course, because he's a musician, it also involves music. There's a whole album on this theme. And David Wang will be joining us at the end of the show to tell us about that. And we'll get to listen to some of the music as well. Let's start. Here's Critical Mass with Serenity from their new album of the same name.
God help me, I can't change how my life has been rearranged. Give me peace to accept the dots I can't connect. Feels like I've hit a wall, feels like I've lost it all, feels like it's all in vain, with nothing left to gain. When I lose my hope at the end of the road, then I lay my heart bare. I turn to you in prayer. I need strength and resolve. I need fears to dissolve, so that I can plan to change the things that I can. Feels like I hit a wall, feels like I've lost it all, feels like it's all in vain, with nothing left to gain. When I lose my hope at the end of the road, then I lay my heart bare. I turn to you in prayer. Give me insight to know when I need to let go, when lines need to be crossed, when to win at all cost. Feels like I hit a wall, feels like I've lost it all, feels like it's all in vain, with nothing left to gain. When I lose my the end of the rope, then I lay my heart bare. I turn to you in prayer. I turn to you in prayer. I turn to you in prayer.
That was Critical Mass with the title track of their album Serenity. And we're going to be speaking with David Wang of Critical Mass in our second half hour. So I hope that you can all stick around for that. And if you missed any part of this conversation or to listen to it again, you can visit us at slmedia.org. Here now is Critical Mass with Sorry from their album Serenity.
Tell us that you're sad, that you hate your mom and dad. Were we there enough when your life got tough to get you through the rough? While your mom would spoil, I let frustration boil. Didn't act as one, we both let you down. The harm can't be undone. You say that our regret can't help you to forget. You say you need to leave, our words you won't believe, and our love you won't receive. We're sorry. No way to push rewind, clear the memories left behind. No guide to raise you all, didn't answer the call. We simply let you fall. Precious moments pass, we pray the scars won't last. Sorry's an empty word, floats away unheard, but we keep trying undeterred. You say that our regret can't help you to forget. You say you need to leave, our words you won't believe, and our love you won't receive. We're sorry. I pray that in the end you will comprehend. Then you'll start to live, maybe you'll forgive, yet perhaps not while I live.
That was Critical Mass with Sorry from their album Serenity. Parental alienation occurs when one parent conducts a campaign of denigration to erase the other parent from the lives of their children. I don't need to tell you the harm that this can do, not just to the targeted parent, but to the children. David Wang of the Catholic band Critical Mass has begun a project that advocates for the children and targeted parents of parental alienation that includes a website and a new album. And to tell us more, I spoke with David Wang earlier this week. David, welcome back to the show. It's good to see you.
Oh, it's always great to be back on Salt and Light. Thanks so much.
It's good to see you, and I'm happy to see you, but it's not necessarily a happy topic. Tell us a little bit about what parental alienation, what is that?
So it's when one parent kind of conducts a campaign of denigration against the other parent and tries to erase that parent. It often happens in high conflict divorces. And if you think about it and think about some of your friends maybe that have gone through a divorce, it's quite common. But parental alienation happens when it's kind of extreme. It's really one parent will basically use a campaign of denigration. They'll badmouth the other parent. They'll share information they really shouldn't share, like legal documents, things like that. And they'll try and restrict time and make excuses like, oh, Johnny can't come and see you. He doesn't want to see you, as opposed to encouraging a relationship between a child and a parent. So the result of all this is a child will start to totally reject a parent.
Mm-hmm.
and that they will stop. They will start referring to that parent by first name, for example,
Right.
or they'll always say one parent's extremely bad, the other parent's really is always really good. They'll spy for the other parent. Sometimes, if they go over on a visit, they'll gather information for the alienating parent. So it's a
Right.
horrible situation, and I've been on Facebook groups where the social media, you see people who are targets of parental alienation, and they're suffering. They see a child that won't talk to them, that child treats them as if they're dead, and won't have anything to do with them. And they get constant reminders through social media, and you hear people talk about suicide and depression, anxiety.
Right.
It's horrible.
Right.
It's
So would you say, I mean, I would say that any of these issues are of concern to the church, but why would you say it's specifically important for Catholics to be aware of this, and particularly maybe Catholic clergy?
Well, I mean, Catholics have always been about preservation of the family and the family unit,
Mhm.
right? And in this particular case, you're talking about removing one of the parents. You're talking about one of the parents basically telling the other parent, telling their children, don't honor that mother and father, like just leave them alone.
Mhm.
It's encouraging the child to lie to the other
To the other
parent, or
parent.
spy on the other parent. And I've seen some examinations of conscience where they talk about libel and slander as being "thou shalt not kill," because you're literally killing the person's reputation. Well, here's a situation where one parent is really being murdered in the eyes of their child, and they no longer exist. So I
Right.
think it's very important that the Catholic Church, especially since we're all about family and two parents, that we take this into consideration and take it seriously, because we are talking about one parent being eliminated.
And just to be clear, you're not necessarily talking about a particular parent who may have been abusive or violent, or who should not be part of, I mean, who should be removed or not to be in touch with their kids. You're talking about, I mean, I'm not going to say that. I mean, all family, there's a little
So,
dysfunction to
so
all
yeah,
family.
so I mean, you raise a good point. Like, no parent is perfect, other than maybe the Holy Family, right? I mean,
Yes.
but other than with that exception, parents make mistakes, right? And in the old days, discipline was not necessarily, was corporal, right?
Yep.
So there's a lot of history, there's a lot of culture, right? But at the end of the day, if a parent has been trying their best and hasn't abused the child, um, and actually, it's an interesting thing. It's a little counterintuitive, but the research shows, Amy Baker had a paper a few years ago that showed that in social work, estrangement is interesting in that children who are abused want a relationship. In alienation, it's totally different. The child totally rejects a parent,
Mhm.
which isn't the case oftentimes when there is abuse. So there are techniques to
Interesting.
differentiate between estrangement and alienation. And this is fairly recent research. This is within the last 4 or 5 years. And I think it's important, the secular courts are starting to understand this. And I think it's important for the church to catch up.
Yeah. And would you say, I mean, I think it's fair to say that a parent can be a victim of this, but really the victims are the children.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about a child being told that half of who they are, half their DNA is evil,
Mhm.
and to totally reject that part of you that's really 50% of your genetic makeup, 50% of who you really are, and you're being told to reject that person. And it causes incredible psychological issues later on in life, and it tends to be intergenerational too. You know, kids who have suffered from parental alienation, they have low self-esteem, they have trouble trusting, they have trouble forming relationships, and in some cases they actually repeat the pattern of parental alienation with their own children.
Right. So the song that we heard just before the interview called Sorry is about that. Why is the song called Sorry?
Well, I think no parent is perfect, and the album Serenity is about a journey. It's
Mhm.
about a journey where 1/5 of all Catholic marriages end in divorce, unfortunately,
Mhm.
and that's a little bit better than the general population, but not much. And so there's a lot of us that go through divorce, separation, and my album Serenity is about that path from divorce to hope and faith and love. But along that journey, sometimes alienation happens. So alienation is part of that journey, part of that album. But as well as the alienation, there's also every parent, no parent is perfect. And every parent does things sometimes that may cause those feelings of alienation, although it may not be deserved.
Oh, right.
And so this song is actually written from the perspective of both parents
Okay.
to their children,
Right.
saying, I'm so sorry, I can't take things back. But, I often talk to alienated parents, and those who have a faith, I always talk to them about the fact that, they've lost hope. But I tell them, you know what? If Jesus really is the truth, then at the end of time, your children will know the truth. They'll know how much you love them.
Yeah.
They'll know that you've made mistakes and that both parents have made mistakes, but they will know the truth. They will know the depth of your love at that time. So as Catholics, if you have been alienated or are suffering, there is always hope because of our faith, right? And that's what that last verse, or the last line, you may not know, my life might be over before you'll know the truth.
Right.
It's also hopeful. It's sad,
Yeah.
very sad, but it's also hope because of our faith.
Yeah. Now you obviously you worked on the songs. That was part of your own healing process, the album, but it's a larger, the project is larger than that. Tell us about the website and maybe how it can help. There might be people listening right now that are experiencing alienation. They don't even know that it's called that.
Exactly.
What do you want to tell them?
Well, I've put together a website called endalienation.org, and it's based around the song Alienation. And alienation is actually kind of interesting. It's a play on words.
Mm-hmm.
So Alien Nation, I actually drew from that old movie Invasion of the Body Snatchers, where you had alien invaders. But it's interesting, in that movie, people you knew suddenly behaved differently.
Yeah.
They would say the words, they would seem to have the same memories, but they were evil. And that same thing happens in parental alienation as well. Your children actually become controlled. So I drew that analogy. So that video, there's a music video that we just released, but the whole website is based on alienation. That's why it's called endalienation.org. And I have all sorts of resources, links to scientific articles. That's the professor in me, the geek in me. I wanted to make sure that everything was backed up by research. I've got interviews with lawyers, legal people, children who've been alienated. And of course, the music is all there, the music videos. And I'm trying to help people, kind of like provide a soundtrack to those people, not just going through alienation, but also those who are in high conflict divorces that might become an alienator, right? Unwittingly, encouraging people to, don't badmouth that other parent, right? Treat them with respect.
Right, because you don't know that it might have that effect. It might not be intentional.
Exactly.
David, thank you. I know it's a difficult journey for a lot of alienated parents, but thank you for responding to it in a way that's hopefully helping a lot of other people heal.
And I hope the album can also be a soundtrack for those who are going through separation and divorce. So it's a part of a bigger picture.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you very much, David. Thank you for the work and for telling us about it today.
Thanks a lot, Phaedra. Take care.
That was a conversation I had with David Wang of Critical Mass earlier this week. If you or someone you know is suffering from parental alienation, you may want to go to David's site, endalienation.org, where you'll find lots of resources. That's also where you can find the new album, Serenity. And to find out more about Critical Mass, you can go to their website, criticalmassmusic.org. Here now is Critical Mass with Alienation from their album, Serenity.
My flesh and blood betrays. I'm in a daze. There's whispers behind the doors, chills me to the core. No guilt in their rejection, false accusation, systematic shunning, an evil cunning, yet falsify the memory to justify Anani as a person, authority reversing, sharing all my secrets, you're exploiting all my weaknesses, you use a role reversal, don't know how it could get worse, no, attacking my relations, it's all assimilation, falsify the memory to justify the treachery, surrounded by alienation, there's no love within their eyes, heaven screaming misinformation, there's no love within their eyes. I pray
We're listening to Critical Mass with Alienation from their album Serenity, and that will bring us to the end of our program this week. Remember that you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Just look for Deacon Pedro, and you can also reach me via email, pedro@slmedia.org. I love to hear your comments and messages, and I respond to every single email that I receive, so write to me. And also remember that you can listen to every single Salt and Light Hour episode on our website, slmedia.org/podcast, but you can also subscribe to the Salt and Light Hour Catholic podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Next week, we'll be speaking with children's author Carissa Douglas about her next installment of the Little Ducklings series, and we will also meet singer-songwriter and guitar master Fred Cacciati, so I hope that you can join us. Thank you for being with us today. Continue to take care of yourselves and of each other, and pray for each other. I'm Deacon Pedro, and this has been the Salt and Light Hour.